That was a good one. Great morning, fired up. It's going to be an awesome Monday. I'm so excited. Every single Monday gets me fired up because it's a new opportunity for a new week. And welcome to Triple M, everybody that's watching live and watching the recording. Thank you for tuning in to get this knowledge, this wisdom together. So today we're going to be listening to a gentleman named Jim Rohn. He's one of the fathers, not the father because there was a few of them, but of like the modern personal development era that we're in right now. So Jim Rohn, you know, he's mentored people like Tony Robbins. He's mentored people like Mark Hughes, who founded Herbalife, our amazing company. And he's worked with a lot of people all over the world. Very, very wise gentleman. One of the first people I got introduced to when I was starting personal development. I was like, man, this guy knows some good things. I'm excited to learn from him. So Roxy actually picked out this video. He's going to be talking about some keys to a great and successful life. Who wants some keys to a great and successful life? I'd want those keys. Because if you don't have the keys, how you going to work the door? How you going to work the locks? So make sure you got your notebook out. I got mine out. We're going to be sharing takeaways at the end. If you're at work and you can't talk live, no problem. Hit up that chat bar because I know you can type at work even if you can't talk at work. And we want to hear everybody's perspective possible. Let's get some new people on sharing their perspective today. So without further ado, let's get to my man, Uncle Jimmy. Yes, Uncle Jimmy in the building. And his foundations for a successful life.
Simple guidelines. I'm telling you, the learning process can be speedy, swift, powerful. Your learning curve can go up, and then applying it to your business, your life, your family, conversations, equities of all kinds. You'll find some progress like I did that first 5 years when I met a teacher willing to share with me, turn my life around. Progress I couldn't believe happened for me. Okay. Let's get started. I want to review, I was here last time and we talked about the 5 major pieces to the life puzzle. And I just want to review those because it lays such a good foundation for all the rest that I want to share with you today. We got a lot of subjects to cover, so we're going to go rather swiftly, okay? Put on your mental track shoes here and run with me today because I'm going to deal mostly in concepts. Expect you to, fill in a lot of the details. Because I got a lot to share. I want to get through it all. But let's lay this foundation again of the 5 major pieces. Happens to be the title of my latest book. But I think it is so valuable in laying a foundation. It's some of the things I learned between ages 25 and 30. The teacher who taught me so well. He dealt in these fundamentals, we call these. Fundamentals. We call these basics. Basics for sports, fundamentals for sports, fundamentals for your business, fundamentals for the way you deal with your family, a few simple things, a few basic things that if you practice every day can make all the difference in the world, how it works out. I boiled it down to 5 major pieces to the life puzzle. Let's just review those. Number 1 is philosophy. Philosophy, as I taught the last time I was here, philosophy, in my personal opinion, is the major determining factor in how your life works out. Philosophy, the major determining factor in how your life works out. Philosophy. To form our philosophy, you got to think. You got to use your mind. You got to process ideas. And this whole process over a lifetime, starting way back here when we were children, schools that we've attended, our parents, our experiences, all this stuff that we've processed by the thinking process helps to develop our philosophy. And in my opinion, each person's personal philosophy is the major factor in how your life works out. Here's what I called it in that last presentation when I was here. It's called the set of the sail. Each person's personal philosophy is like the set of the sail. Now, I used to think it was circumstances that ordered my life. If someone would have asked me at age 25, Mr. Rohn, how come you're not doing well? Pennies in your pocket, creditors calling, nothing in the bank, behind on your promises to your family, you live in America, 25 years old, got a beautiful family, every reason to do well, and things are not going that well for you. What is wrong here? It would not have occurred to me to blame my philosophy. I mean, it would not have occurred to me. saying, well, I got this lousy philosophy, and that's how come I got pennies in my pocket and nothing in the bank, and things aren't working well. That would not have occurred to me. I found it much easier to blame the government. Much easier to blame the tax problem. I used to say taxes are too high. Top tax rate when I first started paying taxes, 91%. Back then, when your income reached a certain level, all your income over that, 91%. So I used to say that's too high. Now the top tax rate's about 33%. But people are still saying what? Taxes are too. See, but you can't use that anymore. If it's gone from 91 to 33, how could it be too high? Come on. I threw all that old excuse stuff away. Some people found it, though, and they're using it these days. My old list. I used to blame the traffic, the weather, used to blame circumstances, right? People say I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too old. I was raised in obscurity, raised on a farm, parents of modest means, all the stuff. If you were to ask me, how come you find yourself here, Mr. Rohn, age 25, living in America, land of abundance and opportunity, pennies, zero in the bank, not doing well, creditors calling, it would not have occurred to me to blame my philosophy. I found it easier to blame the company policy. I used to say, if this is all they pay, how do they expect you to do well? So I figured that, my future was going to be tied to what everybody else was arranging, the economy and, right, interest rates. I used to say things cost too much. That was my whole explanation, not my philosophy, until my teacher taught me better that this is where the problem was, my own personal philosophy. Here's what's exciting about each person's personal philosophy. That's what makes us different than dogs and animals and birds and cats and spiders and alligators. That's what makes us different than all of the life forms. The ability to think, the ability to use your mind, the ability to process ideas, and not just operate by instinct. In the winter, I'm telling you, the goose can only fly south. What if south doesn't look too good? Tough luck. It can only fly south. But see, human beings are not like a goose, can only fly south. I mean, you can turn around, go north, you can go east, you can go west, you can order the entire process of your own life. And we do that by the way we think. We do that by exercising our mind. We do that by processing ideas and come up with a better philosophy, a better strategy for our life, goals for the future, okay? Plans to achieve those goals. All this comes from developing our philosophy. Philosophy helps us to process what's available. Well, when we get here, we got seed, and we got soil, and we got some rain, and we've got some what? Sunshine, and we've got some seasons, and what? The miracle of life. Now, the key is, what do you do with all this stuff? How do you turn all this stuff that's available here into equity, and promise, and lifestyle, and dreams, and future possibilities? All of this that's possible now with human beings, how do you take all this stuff and turn it into this equities and values? Well, it starts with philosophy. What is the seed? What is the soil? What is the sunshine? What is the rain? Is it possible to take some of each of all the stuff that's available and turn it into food and turn it into value and turn it into nourishment? Turn it into something spectacular and unique that no other life form can do? And the answer is yes. But you cannot deal with all this stuff and what to do with it unless you start refining your philosophy. Think, use your mind, come up with ideas, and strengthen your philosophy. So the seed and the soil and the rain and the sunshine, this is called, the economy and the banks and the money and the schools and everything that's available out there, processing information, what to do with all that, and turn it into equity and value. That is the major challenge of life, my personal opinion. So each person's personal philosophy now is going to determine what you're going to do with seed and soil and sunshine and rain and miracle, the change of seasons. That's it. My personal opinion. Each person's personal philosophy is like the set of the sail. That's what this seminar is for today. Help you to trim a better sail. You don't need a better economy. You don't need better seed and soil. In fact, When it comes to seed and soil and rain and sunshine and seasons and the miracle of life, that's all you got. Now, what if you blame this stuff? Then you're blaming all you got. If you blame the economy, and you blame the schools, and you blame the teachers, and you blame the sermons and the preachers, and you blame, you know, the marketplace, and you blame the company and company policy, what else is there? When some people get through with their blame list, there isn't nothing else. That's all there is. And if you blame the only thing you've got to work with, I'm telling you, it's called mistake colossal. In not understanding that that's all you've got to work with. And if this is all you've got to work with, then you don't change the seed, and you don't change the soil, and you don't change the rain, and you don't change the sunshine, you don't change the seasons. Right? Guy says, I'll take 3 springs, 4 summers, 9 falls, no winters. No! You can't fool with this stuff. You got to take it like it comes. Then what do you change to make your life work well? You got to start with your philosophy. Guess what I had to do at age 25 in order to change my own future? I had to change my mind. I had to change my thinking. I had to change my philosophy. I was messed up on what was causing my problem. And once I got that straightened out, that all the stuff I blamed, the government and taxes and the marketplace and the economy and things cost too much, negative relatives, cynical neighbors, once I got rid of that and started going for where the real problem was, which was me, I'm telling you, my life exploded into change. My bank account changed immediately. My income changed immediately. My whole life took on a whole new look and color immediately. And the early results I got from making these philosophical changes tasted so good, I've never stopped the process from that day until this. And I'm telling you, with a little consideration of the refinement of your sail, by setting a better sail, refining your philosophy, your whole life can start to change from today on. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till next month. You don't have to wait till spring. You don't have to wait till 93. You can start this whole process immediately. I recommend it. Now, some people do so little thinking, they don't even have their sail up. I mean, you can imagine where they're going to wind up at the end of this week, at the end of this month, at the end of this year. Now's the chance to change, process all this information. So number 1 is philosophy. Okay. And we dealt with all that, where we get ideas from personal experience, from other people's experiences. I don't want to get into all those details because we covered that the last time I was here. But philosophy, that's number 1, my personal opinion. Each person's personal philosophy. Here's the definition of success and failure. Just make this note. Here's failure. A few errors in judgment, repeated every day. Now, you can automatically assume, Mr. Owen, I say, I can understand that. A few errors in judgment repeated every day. For 6 years? I'm with my father. I think I told this story the last time I was here. My father, 88 years old, he's never been ill, still hasn't retired. Not long ago, midnight, we're getting ready to go to bed. We've drilled a new well, got some extra water, got some more acres going. He's all excited. At midnight, we're getting ready to go to bed. My father's eating what he calls his midnight snack. A little bite to eat before you go to bed. Don't have to go to bed hungry. And I'm watching him eat this midnight snack. Guess what he had? An apple, a few graham crackers, and a glass of grapefruit juice. I said, no wonder my father's so healthy. My mom taught us all those good health practices. Taught me when I'm growing up, right? I'm an only child. I've never been ill. Passed the big 5-0 some time ago. My 2 daughters, 32, 33, never been ill. My grandkids, never been ill. I'm telling you, the legacy lingers on. As I watched my father have this midnight snack, suddenly it occurred to me. I know that's part of it. An apple, what? A day. That's gotten to Dallas-Fort Worth, right? An apple. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Good question for this intelligent audience. What if that's true? You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if that's true, that would be easy to do. Then what's the problem? It's easy not to do. It's easy not to adopt it as your own personal philosophy. Or the guy messed up the saying. Guy says a Hershey bar a day. Say, no. No. You've been watching too much television. It is not Hershey bar. You got to be smarter in philosophy than to fall for the Hershey bar a day when it's an apple a day. You got to be smarter than that. And if you make that kind of an error in judgment every day for 6 years, I'm telling you, it'll accumulate into disaster. Sometimes the first year you say, well, you know, I'm so healthy now, what difference is it going to make? You got to be smarter than that. Just because disaster doesn't fall on us at the end of the first day doesn't mean disaster isn't coming. You got to be so smart that you look down the road and say, will the errors in my present judgment of philosophy, what's that going to cost me in 1 year, 6 years, 1 month, 6 months? I'm telling you, the money cost and the health cost and the success cost is too gigantic if you'll look down the road a little ways and say, are there errors in my current judgment like an apple versus a Hershey bar? Is that just a good illustration of some of the rest of my errors in judgment? If it is, that's where I found myself at age 25. I started working when I was 19. I met my teacher who helped turn my life around when I was 25. That's 6 years. At the end of the first 6 years of my economic life, I've got pennies in my pocket. I've got nothing in the bank. The creditors are calling saying, hey, you told us the check was in the mail. I'm embarrassed. I'm behind on my promises. I live in America. I'm 25-year-old American male. I got a nice family, every reason to do well. And I'm messed up. Now, what's messed up? I used to think it was the community that was messed up, and the country was messed up, and the government was messed up. If those Democrats ever get in the White House, that'll really mess things up. If the Republicans stay in power, that'll really mess things up. The economy was messed up. Interest rates are messed up. I thought all this stuff was messed up. Then I found out that's not what was messed up. I was criticizing the only thing I had to work with. What was really messed up was my own personal philosophy. My own errors in judgment in my own personal philosophy brought me in 6 years to pennies in my pocket, nothing in the bank, and trying to explain why I wasn't doing well living in America, 25-year-old American male, got a family, every reason to do well. Now, once I understood this, here's the formula for failure: errors in judgment, being lax about developing your own personal...
Man, Jimmy always drops major nuggets, man. I'm telling you guys, Jim Rohn, I wish I could have seen him speak. He's really impacted my life personally. You want to go first? You chose this video. Give us the nuggets.
He's actually like one of my favorites. I love him because it's just like you can go back to him, and no matter how long it's been since he did those like videos and those seminars, like everything he talks about, you can still apply it to your life now. So the very beginning, I love when he was talking about your philosophy is a major determining factor of how your life works out. And it's so true. You know, a couple of years ago, I remember 5 or 6 years ago when I used to live in Texas, my philosophy was money is like evil and only greedy people like want money. And I had all of these stories about my life and the way I was related to money. And so my life started to turn out a certain way. And when it started to turn out a certain way, I did start to blame the outside circumstances. But really, the only person that there was to blame was myself, because I'm the only one in control of the way that my life gets to go. Because if I look around, especially here in America, it is filled with opportunity. There's opportunity all around, but it's only those who are willing to have a different set of philosophy, that are willing to get a different life, that get the good life. So that for me was just like, wow, so true. And then inside of that too, I'm sure for everyone, you get to see people inside of your life who live in a certain type of philosophy. There's never enough money. This person this, or this, or this. There's always that thing, but they never change anything about themselves to fix any of the external stuff. But again, it goes back down to philosophy. You live inside of the story that I don't have enough, you'll never have enough, no matter what. No matter what you do, you'll never have enough, because that's the story that you live inside of. That's your philosophy. So I really love that. And then I loved how you talked about the few errors in judgment every day. And if you keep doing those errors, you know, he said, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. How easy is that? It's so easy. but what's easy is also easy not to do. And it's so true. It's easy to go to the gym. It's easy to work out. It's easy to do all of those things, but it's also easy not to do. And when we do that and we're going, like how you said, for the Snickers bar and all those things 6 years down the line, what impact will that have in your life? Because everything has an impact. And for me, like, I can ask myself right now, and it's in my ways of being and different things, like, what is the ultimate impact if I continue to live in a certain kind of story or philosophy? What impact will that have in my life 6 to 10 years from now? And what's amazing is that, like you said, like, animals, they're born with their instinct and they can't change from instinct. You know, if the geese fly south, he said, they can't fly the other way no matter what the weather. However, us human beings do have that possibility and have the freedom of choice to change our life at any given moment.
Powerful stuff. So I love that one. What's easy to do, what easy not to do. A few ones that I really liked is how you view what causes your life. And he's talking about what is philosophy and how it changed his life. And it really comes back to responsibility versus fault. Fault is, say something happens to you. Somebody runs into your car. You were born into a certain kind of family, or maybe not a family. You were, raised with money, raised without money. Whatever it is that you were born into is not your fault because you had no control over it. But it is now your responsibility. Because if you were born into a family with no money, or you're born into a family with a lot of money, where you get pampered and you don't get to learn a lot of the life's lessons through experience, it's not your fault, but now it's your responsibility to figure out how you're going to deal with that. And what makes the difference between people that are successful and the people that are not successful is responsibility versus blame. So I want you guys to think, are you where you want to be in life? Financially, relationship-wise, health-wise, contribution to the planet-wise. Are you there where you want to be? And just answer the question inside of your head. And if you are, awesome, keep going, keep doing it. You're on track. If you're not, who do you blame for not being there? Is it external to you? Is it my mom, my dad, my race, my gender, where I was born, the government, my school, my teacher? Who are you blaming for that? Because it's not your fault if you were born into a certain situation, but it is now your responsibility to play the cards you've been dealt. Steve Jobs said it's not your fault if you were born, or I think it was Bill Gates, one of the two said it's not your fault if you were born poor, but it is your fault if you die poor. And you got to remember that money is just a representation of the value you bring to the world. It's our currency. So if you are blaming people, then he said it right here. He said, your philosophy is your opportunity to take back power of how you direct your life in any kind of weather. And what's so great that this really goes back to what we learned in Landmark, the personal development seminar. His talk of philosophy is exactly like their talk of the act. And the act of your philosophy is how you operate in the world. Have you ever seen somebody in the world that you're like, damn, why do they take everything like people are attacking them? Or they take everything like they already know it. Or they take everything like it could never work. Very cynical. They've already got an outlook before things ever occur. They're taking everything through that lens of cynical, maybe optimistic, doubting, off-putting, whatever it is. Now that you've seen that in somebody in your life, do you think that there's a possibility that you do something the same? That you come into life with a philosophy and a lens? Because I used to think, oh yeah, it's them and them and them. No, it was me. I came into every situation like I had to be important. I had to be someone because I felt like I wasn't someone when I was a kid. So I had to sit. I was like, okay, now I got to be somebody. I didn't even it's not on a conscious level. It's on an unconscious level. It'll be just who you think you are. Just who you think you are. Not necessarily who you are, but you have an accordance to act who you think you are. And that is your philosophy. I'm not good with money. I'm not, this runs in my family. We just eat like this. We get like this. I'm not good in relationships. I don't let people in. I hurt people. I get hurt. I can't trust. I can't control my finances. I can't learn more. I'm smart. I'm stupid. Whatever it is that you think, that is your philosophy that you created, whether you know it or not. Sometimes you created it at a time before you were conscious that you created it, meaning like you're a kid. But now as an adult, I want you guys to really take this in. Now as an adult, and think to yourself, what are the philosophies that I go through life with? And these philosophies are like, I'm this kind of person, I'm not that kind of person. Those are your philosophies. I'm the kind of person that tries new things. I'm the kind of person that doesn't try new things. I'm the kind of person that lets people in. I'm the kind of person that doesn't let. That's your philosophy in life. Now that you see where your philosophy, you're starting to get a look at it. When did you decide who you were? And what I mean by that is, I see so many people, myself included, I made that decision about, hey, this is it. I got to change things. I got to change. I got to become a somebody because I was a nobody, according to my friends at the time. And I didn't know to not take on that person's issues as my own. And I did. I was like 15, 16 at the time. I think I was 15 or 14. So I'm living this 15, 14-year-old philosophy. And I'm 31 years old now. So at 20, I was living it. 22, I was living it. 25, I was living it. 28, I was living it. So just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you're operating with the philosophy of your age. You could have made a decision at 5, 6, or 7 because of something that happened inside of your life, and that became your operating philosophy at 30, 40, 50. And you're wondering why, damn, I'm this age, but I haven't achieved this, or I haven't done that, or I haven't gotten there, or I haven't become this. It may be because the philosophy of your life was created much earlier and you never revisit, you've just taken it as true. You never revisit, never thought, why do I say I'm that way? Why do I believe this is who I am? Maybe I should sit down. I'm going to tell you guys, I have clients all the time who will be doing their wellness eval, and they'll be like, yeah, A, they don't have breakfast. Where'd you get that philosophy? Who told you to not have breakfast? B, they have something sugary. Yeah, man, sometimes I have some sugary oats, or sometimes I put some milk in a banana. Sometimes I have some bread and some coffee. I'm like, where'd you get this philosophy from? Did you hear what he said? A Snicker bar a day. He said, you've been watching too much TV. You got to remember, TV, movies, music were created to appeal to the pleasure principles in humans, so you buy a lot of it. So they're working on that, but you're getting life philosophy from that. That can be so dangerous because a Snickers bar tastes good, so you're going to go buy more, so the company's going to do more advertising. But what I've seen, and for me, I mistook advertising for educating. And then I lived my life as if advertising was my educating. Oh, The Simpsons, they do this. Home Improvement, they do this. This movie, they do this. That guy I want to be like from that movie, I'm going to do that. I was getting my philosophy from people that were advertising, trying to get my money from something, whether it was a movie ticket, to buy an album, or to get some food, or buy a product. I never sat down and said, hey, let me research. Why do I eat breakfast? Why does my body operate like that? I never even did that. And that's what he said, taking power back over your philosophy. Looking into, hey, let me look with my own interest, not the interest of somebody that just wants my money to buy something. And let me create my philosophy from there. So I know that was a little longer, but if you guys really get that, you'll start to understand a lot of things inside of your life. What is your philosophy? When was it created? Do you want to change it? Because through your change of philosophy, you can change your life. Boom. All right, let's get a few shares from the viewers. Who's got a share? Smile, thumb up. Give me a big bright face. Let's get it, Armani. What you got for us?
What up, you guys? It's Armani from the IE. I love Jim Rohn. I listen to him pretty much every morning on the way to work. It's one of my playlists. So his philosophy and everything he talks about, I love it. It fires me up every morning. But a big thing what he said when he started giving up his excuses, it made a difference. And that's some other people found the same excuses and use them, but their life is no different from like when he was using those excuses. So obviously those excuses has something to do with having a negative life or not wearing where you want to be in life. And another thing when you're talking about a failure is a few errors in a judgment repeated every day, which is like dang, that's so true. And that really hits me, just because like if you didn't hit those errors, you wouldn't fail. So just don't do the errors. I don't know, it just makes a lot of sense, you know. But that's one of my shares.
Dope. Few errors in judgment repeated every day over time equals failure. Dope. Great takeaways, Armani. Thanks. Let's get one more takeaway. Give me a smile, thumbs up, a big happy face. Everybody's working hard. Everybody's heading into work. Let's get it, Shalonda. What you got for us?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'm Shalonda from Phoenix, Arizona. My biggest takeaway from Triple M was when he talked about explode into change. You will explode into change once you work on yourself to set a better self. And that comes with exercising your mind to create and process your philosophy. That goes into like reading, learn something new every day, build your vocabulary, and so forth. You're creating your cell and you're getting better, you're strengthening it, I guess. And then also, you will never feel good. Oh, actually, yeah, that also goes into experience too, to help develop your cell. And then you will never feel good when you don't want to make changes for your life. And that's just, taking care of your cell and just getting better each day. And that was my biggest takeaway.
Nice. I love it. That was great. Working on yourself creates feeling good, because to grow, we must change, and life happiness requires growth. Think about any time when you haven't been happy, look back and see where you're growing. And I guarantee you weren't, because life was created for you to grow into your possibility on a daily basis. So love it. Epic takeaways, you guys. Man, this was a great Triple M. Today was a little bit more philosophical, a little bit more. It wasn't the rah-rah. It was more deep wisdom where you're like, dang, yeah. So good job today, you guys. Gonna post a recording. Repost the recording. Send it to your friends and family. Repost a flyer or repost a picture that represents your biggest takeaway. And pay one of your takeaways forward. Don't leave it with you, because you haven't fully gotten it until you give it away. Because in the giving it, you actually get it for real. Because when I give it to you, I get it for real. If I just sat here and watched it by myself with Roxy, we would get it, but not like we get it when we give it to you guys. Now you pay it forward. Invite people to the next Triple M on Monday. If you're watching a recording, do the same thing. Repost the link. Post your biggest takeaway. Tag and send it to your friends, and get them on the Triple M Monday morning or every week with the recording, because the more people that we know that are in our life getting better, growing, getting value from this, the better our life is. It's not just them, it's us. When they do better, we do better, because our lives live in our relationships. So great job today, you guys. I'm unmute everybody. Where's that energy at? Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Jim Rohn got me on one.
Yeah.